did the demo at SW, whatever it's called, studios near Clerkenwell in Berry Street. Sent it off to a whole bunch of people. Got pretty much no reaction anyway, or rejection letters, except for Warner Brothers. A guy at Warner Brothers, yeah.
Yes, he expressed some vague interest.
And he paid for us to go down to some sort of studio. It was in a country house in Dorset. In Dorset. And there we recorded this version of RFD that's on the album. That's why these ones are all sounding different, right? So this was our second time in a studio. What can you remember about that?
It was less well provisioned than SWM.
It wasn't a proper studio.
It wasn't. It was one of those more like transferring off one TAC onto another TAC and adding an overdub sort of situations.
Yeah. Right. So what? 4-track or 2-track TAC?
2-track, two stereo reel-to-reels talking to each other with overdubs.
And it was an old, I don't know, Georgian building out in the country, wasn't it? So none of the rooms, I remember the vocals we did on the hall, which had stone floors and echo, so it's like a little natural echo chamber.
That's why you can hear that echo.
Still didn't improve the quality of the vocals in any way at all. But so the rooms were not proper studios, so as a result, what came out was...
And the drums, can you remember where you recorded the drums? Was it did we all play in a room, like the sort of an empty living room? I'm trying to remember.
It was something like a room with lots of carpets on the walls and all that depressing sort of stuff.
Sort of hippie commune.
It was not so much get your head together sort of stuff.
They were definitely hippies. Take it from me, I know.
Yeah?
They were hippies.
Well,
he's a man who's worked with Gong. He knows a hippie when he says
I know a hippie.
You worked with Gong.
I worked with Gong.
So it's like sort of English Gong type scenario.
They were in the band called High Tide, which was a very nice band.
Yes, High Tide
with Simon, who later went on to work with Bowie on Lodger.
No.
Yeah.
They were one of the unrecognised British late 60s, early 70s bands.
Yeah.
High Tide.
Yeah. And Andy and there was another guy who I met when I came up to London. When we returned to London, then I maintained a certain sort of contact with them. I don't know how. I don't know why, other than the music, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I went to their place and we rehearsed a bit and all the rest of it. And there was another guy who was also in High Tide. Yeah, basically it was like they were.
Oh, it was there.
They were the remains of High Tide regrouping and getting themselves back together again.
And they got some money from Warner's for us to go down there.
Yeah, and then that fell through after 6 months after we were left. That whole thing collapsed again.
Right. And so the version that's on there of RFD is what we recorded there.
Yeah.
So that's our second.
I can't remember too clearly what it sounds like, but I suspect it sounds even more rough and ready in sonic quality than the original demo.
Although I must say, listening to it, it does sound a little less sort of anemic than the first one. Is very sort of dry and sort of bitty and party, and it sounds a bit.
The first one reminded me of the BBC. When it's very austere, and sort of everyone does their thing. I'll wait for the red light, and on the red light, there's all sort of bing, we do it properly. Whereas the second one, the whole environment was completely different, but technically it was much less well provided.
Yeah, right, okay.
And I seem to remember the drums sort of disappearing into the, at first, on the first take, they're fine, but then when you bounce it across, they just disappear into the sort of hiss. I seem to remember that.
I mean, by that stage, we'd actually played a lot more together. We'd settled down to the 4-piece, hadn't we? And we'd probably done the Nettlefold Hall and places like that several times. So we were actually more used to playing together as a band, playing in front of people. We'd loosened up. I mean, I think one of the things about that, the Years of the Quiet Sun in particular, is that everybody is literally sitting there and counting.
Playing exactly right. That's exactly it.
It's tense. Whereas this stuff is a lot looser.